Welcome everybody to this edition of Trowel Time. So it's fall, October is close on us, and we're filming this the last week of September. So it's good to have everybody here, and we hope you're enjoying getting back to work and in your lodges. September is kind of the month that everybody comes back. Bill calls it the hardest lodge meeting of the year, because everybody's used to being home for the summer. So it's good to have you guys with us. As always,
good to be here, Bob.
Bill Finkel, our Grand Secretary, with us, and Tom Braun, our Grand Lecturer. And behind the cameras is Ben Tigner. Say hi to Ben. Hi, Ben. Thank you. Smattering of applause comes from the audience of one. I tried to get Darren in here, but he said no. So we'll get him next month. So it's good to have everybody back. I know we've got some exciting things coming up in this month, and some things have happened. We had our Masonic Legacy event a couple of weeks ago on Saturday night, and it was very well received. And you folks have been busy and going about the state, but I think coming up in our calendar by the time that this hits everybody's desktop will be the October 1st leadership event that'll be held down in Kalamazoo. And if you want information on that, you go to the website, click on calendar under news and events, and then go to the date, and you'll find the registration process there. We'd love to have you attend that. October 15th is the all-degree day all across the state, and we'll be talking with Tom in just a couple of moments about some things that you need to know for that. You know, we had the Masonic Legacy event. That was the first one we've had since 2019. 1,204 days that had passed since we had that. It was
a good time.
It was fun. Yeah, we had it here, and our staff, a whole bunch of folks from here, did just a great job of putting that together. So it was a lot of fun.
They ought to be applauded for what they did.
So, yeah.
Great job.
Thank you to our staff and everybody that helped with that. It was a great night. So, Bill Finkel.
Yes, sir.
This time of year is the dreaded
Form
52. Yeah, the non-payment of dues suspension issue. Why don't you just kind of go through that a little bit with us? When they're supposed to be in, what happens to them once they get here, that kind of thing.
Well, the deadline for submission of this is October 20th. Key thing to remember that all forms must be completely filled out. Every little box square must be filled out, dated and signed. They all get sent to the office here, and unfortunately we're expecting to be in the hundreds again. But once they're here, the Grand Master goes through them all and decides who's valid and who's not valid. It's a long process, but he reads every one of them, or he has done in the last few years. Yeah. I'm sure most Worship Brother Leonard will do the same thing, and we'll decide on what happens.
You know, I think one of the most confusing topics of non-payment of dues is whether or not they roll over. So if you don't pay your dues this year and they don't remove you, do you owe now next year's dues and this year's dues?
No, you owe dues for the current year. And there's two ways of not paying them. If the lodge remitted your dues, they don't owe anything. And if they were suspended, they don't owe anything. So you owe for the current year only. Okay.
Mentioning remittances, then a lot of lodges will say we can't remove them for non-payment of dues, so we'll just remit their dues. And if they do that, is that allowed?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. In fact, in the Blue Book, it states that a lodge can remit a brother's dues, and then he can submit a petition for demit petition after that.
For withdrawal.
For withdrawal, yeah, if that's what he wants to do. So
okay. But you can only issue a MDR, a Masonic dues remitted, if there is financial hardship.
Financial hardship, which
or active military duty. Yeah. So if you don't know anything about the individual that you're trying to suspend for non-payment of dues, can you remit him for financial hardship?
Well, no, you don't know anything about him.
Because you don't know anything about him.
And that's one of the main reasons for this, Bob, is that they lose contact with a lot of brothers. And they wait till September to decide, we don't have an address.
Yeah, we have a lot of lodges that have 60, 70 members, and they say we can't find 4 or 5 or 6 of them, you know, that's almost 10% of the membership that they can't find
Right.
in a lodge with 60 members. And I struggle with that. I really do.
Another interesting thing, Bob, I've got lodges saying, well, we just suspended 2. Okay, but 2 for every lodge is 520 Masons.
Right.
You know, so you got to look at the big picture, not just the single one lodge picture.
Well, and if you have 40 members in your lodge,
yeah,
you just suspended 5%.
yep, yeah,
So then the only way you get over that is if you raised 2 new ones, and the only way you'll have a gain is if you raise 3.
and nobody dies.
And hope nobody dies. Yeah, and our biggest problem isn't suspensions; it's death.
Right.
Right. Every year we get, you know, anywhere from 1,100 to 13, sometimes, you know, higher through COVID. We don't know. So these always become, you know, places where we get kind of concerned about how many have passed away, and just missing them, losing touch with them because we don't know.
Yeah.
So they may be in some circumstance where
Yep.
we could help, and we don't know that. So. Before we go around throwing people out, let's make sure that we've done everything that we can. I know that a lot of people do, that they really try, but let's really put ourselves into the shoes of the person who's being considered for removal, whether it's whatever circumstance it is, and say that we can help. You know, they don't need to be hiding, afraid to come forward to us. We're your brothers, and we want to help. So let us do that. All right, we're going to get back to Bill. With some Q&A stuff that we've got put together after this quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Every day we make choices. Choices to help ourselves. Choices that help those around us. When it's time to make a choice about your senior living options, consider Masonic Pathways. We offer choices for entertainment, socialization, and most importantly, choices that make life easier for you. When it's time to discuss choices in your life, make Masonic Pathways your first choice and contact our care team today.
Welcome back from our break. We hope you enjoyed that. Tom, you're with us now in the hot seat. Glad to have you. Thanks for being here.
Nice to be here.
Yeah. Have a good drive up.
I did. A little bit of rain, but it's blue skies now and everything's fine.
It was hailing here.
Yeah.
But,
Wow.
That's good. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Bill, did you drive through the storm okay?
Yeah, it was interesting because I could see it in the future.
Yeah.
And we met.
And you met. Yeah.
It poured.
Yeah. Well, for anybody coming up 127 right around Maple River game area, it gets kind of hairy through there anyway with the construction and everything. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're both here, safe and sound. Tom, we've got the All Degree Day coming up, October 15th.
Correct.
You know, what does that consist of? How does that work?
Well, we have locations throughout the state.
Okay.
We have one in Flat Rock. We have one in Owasso.
Okay.
The Shrine Center in Saginaw.
All right.
And in Escanaba for the UP. All the degree teams are set, so the candidates are going to get a great degree. They're going to have a great experience.
Good.
But one thing that they need to remember, candidates must have a Bible, a square and compass, and an apron. Now, the lodge can provide that to them, or they can get a kit that's available on the Grand Lodge website. They just call, and we can provide them that.
Okay. Or they can order it from the website.
Or they can order from the
Yeah,
website.
the
Correct.
secretaries can order that. It should go through the secretary so that they know that that they've got the right thing.
Correct.
Right.
And each candidate must have a mentor.
Okay.
And
That mentor stays with them the whole time.
absolutely.
Yeah, they don't leave. They don't just get them there and then go off and have
No,
have a
they'll-
coney.
They're going to be conjoined.
Conjoined twins.
The whole day.
That's right. Absolutely. Maybe not that close,
So
but close enough.
it's going to be, and we've the numbers that we have at each location are starting to build, so we're excited about
Good.
that. Anytime we can raise a master mason in our jurisdiction,
Yeah, and
our
it's-
numbers are going in the right direction.
Going to make it a good experience.
That's right.
Each one of them pays $10 as well. It's a one-time fee. It's not per degree, right?
Correct.
And then that money goes to the Michigan Masonic Home,
There you go.
right?
Absolutely.
So they got to have a mentor. Make sure, fellas, you got a mentor for your candidates at the All Degree Day, whichever one you're going to. You got to have a mentor there. You took the time to sign his petition. Now take the time to be with him. Somebody has to buy the kit. Right, secretary or master, somebody from the lodge has to buy it that has an apron. It's got a little square and compasses, got a Bible in it. So you're all set, and you don't need anything more than that. You register, online. You can find the information for that in our calendars. So just go to michiganmasons.org, click on News and Events, the drop-down, hit the calendar, and go straight to October 15th, and then just click on that button, and it'll open up all the information that you need about
Absolutely.
that. All right, very good. Ritual competition coming up in November.
Yes, we are.
Give us a little background on that and what we need to do to participate in that.
Well, we've been holding the ritual competitions for multiple years now. And this year the competition is the historical account in the second section of the Master Mason degree. And it's a beautiful piece of ritual that not a lot of brothers know. So we're trying to get those. That's how we select those pieces of ritual, ones that are not every brother knows how to present that. Okay? So, and we're very excited because the competition from last year, we have 2 brothers who have now signed up to do their ritualist examinations, and it comes out of that. We have 2 categories. We have one category for only Master Masons, and we have another category for sitting masters, past masters. And if you are a Grand Lodge officer or a BGP or a DDI or a ritualist, you are not allowed to participate. We're trying to encourage that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't want past masters hanging around.
There you go.
They know it all, right? Every one of them knows
They all have their own ritual.
I had a great friend of mine from England, Richard, that always said that he had of course in England, all the past masters sit in the east. At least as space allows.
Okay.
And he called them the bobbing heads. Because if the sitting master does anything and they do this, then you can do it. If they do this, you can't do it. That's pretty much the way it was. Well, that's good. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're
excited.
excited
And then
about
you've got another group for just Master Masons, and they can do their ritual proficiency.
Absolutely.
And get certified in that. Yeah. That's great. All right. Good stuff. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break and come back after that. We'll do some Q&A and have some fun. So we'll see you in just a minute.
Are you looking for the latest Masonic apparel, materials, and literature from the craft? Look no more. At MichiganMasonicStore.com, you can find everything from hats and shirts to tumblers, blankets, and books. Our shirts come in a range of sizes and with logos and branding custom stitched for the Michigan Masons. Don't wait. Visit MichiganMasonicStore.com now.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that, and you can send some notes of thanks to Darren Thompson, who helped put all that together and did a great job for us. Darren is one of the reasons that it's fun to work here. Everybody makes it fun to work here, but Darren and I had some good laughs last week with the Amazon banana slicer. So if you don't know what the Amazon banana slicer is, just get to Amazon, type in banana slicer, and you'll see. And don't so much worry about the banana slicer itself. It's the comments that are hysterical. So it's good stuff. Darren and I have had more than our share of really bad laughs about the Amazon yellow banana slicer. So I'm going to leave it at that because I'll probably get in trouble if I go much further. Okay, we've got some questions. They came in from the fraternity around the state, and Darren collects those and gets them to us. So here's some questions. The first one comes from a brother in West Michigan, and he asks a very interesting question. He said he's writing a story for Lodge Education. Thank you for that. I'd love to see that or hear it when you're completed with it. About music, hearing, and sound. And deafness at one time, his statement is deafness at one time was an initial disqualification to become a Mason, and you are quite correct, it was. It was called the doctrine of the perfect body, and your body had to be whole before you could be made a Mason. He goes on to state that I've found it's now okay in some jurisdictions, and it is, by the way, okay in Michigan as well, provided sign language and or screens are used. And the question is, what is the policy of the Grand Lodge of Michigan, or could we refer him to someone who may know the answer? So I'm going to pass that off to my panel here. What's the policy of Michigan as far as somebody who is either completely without or very hard of hearing?
It's left to the individual lodge for
Okay.
them to decide what happens in their lodge.
All right.
It's like many other things. It sounds like a cop-out, but it's up to the lodge themselves to decide.
Okay, good.
And we do have some experiences. We have a brother in Genesee County who is very proficient in sign language, And we have initiated, passed, and raised a brother that with hearing difficulties.
Okay, and I happen to know of a brother in Southwest Michigan that's very skilled in signing, and he does it at court, and he works for or helps the state courts and those kinds of things with folks that have that can only sign. So I think it's important to note that it's up to the lodge. The doctrine of perfect body, that left a long time ago. I read some fascinating debates in Wisconsin about following the Civil War, that men had come back, wanted to join the fraternity, and were now without all kinds of limbs and all kinds of difficulties. And they would not, even under those circumstances, they would not amend that doctrine back at that time. So I don't know that anything has specifically been done regarding that it's gone. But I think that more to our point, it's how it's interpreted by the worshipful master of each lodge at this point in time. Yeah. Good question, though. Great topic, by the way, for an educational program.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that. This is from a brother over in South Haven, Star of the Lake Lodge, number 158. Almost of all of the lodge names, it's one of my favorites. Star of the Lake, right? It's a beautiful name, beautiful lodge building. And a great brother who continuously harasses us about which way our square and compasses are facing on our coasters here.
I know him well.
Yes, we all do. Got a good question, though. And this one I'll pass to Tom. When more than one candidate is involved in a degree, fellow craft, master mason, the first section, do we change the ritual to accommodate that? And here's his example. Is he worthy? Can that be changed to are they worthy?
Absolutely, they can.
Okay.
Our focus being on the candidate and making their experience the best we can make it.
Okay.
There's no reason you can't make that a plural.
All right. So if the next grand lecturer comes in and changes that, then what?
Then you can deal with them.
All right. Well, that's a great answer. I love that. Having been one, I know what you mean. All right. This one, I'm going to pass this back to Bill. What are the suggested guidelines, if any, for retaining records? How many years for petitions, financials, secretary forms like transfers, and those kinds of things?
Well, in the duties of the secretary section of the Blue Book, it states that the secretary will keep records. Unfortunately, it doesn't say how long, but it says keep. So to me, that means you keep them forever.
Forever, yeah. As a matter of fact, when you die, we're going to put them in the coffin with you, and you can take them with you then, right? No, we need to keep those things.
Yeah.
So I think that if you looked at it from the perspective of in 150 years or 200 years, what would have value? And probably all of it. I mean, I think that the notes, electric bills, telephone invoice, that kind of thing, you can dispose of that. Financial records, though, you should keep for 7 years. Petitions, lodge minutes, all that stuff. Keep that stuff. Don't let it go. You got to hang on to it, and keep trestle boards and newsletters and programs. That, maybe you have a program written up for your installation of officers, or for a festive board, or some other thing that you're doing. Keep a copy of that. It's valuable information. I love to read that old stuff, and quite frankly, if secretaries chucked it out, we wouldn't have any idea of what happened in the past.
Right now, there's a secretary in Millington. He puts out a monthly newsletter, and he always puts what was in the minutes 100 years ago, 150 years ago. That's all interesting stuff.
It is. It's very interesting. A friend of mine in a lodge downstate would start his meetings off by reading the minutes from that date 100 years ago.
Right.
But he wouldn't tell anybody that he was reading the minutes from 100 years ago. And it wasn't until he'd done this for about a year and a half that somebody said, I don't think that I recognize any of those names. And it had been a year and a half that he had been reading those minutes before somebody actually discovered that there was something contained in there that was a little confusing. So, okay, good.
That's funny because they passed them all.
It's the same thing.
Approved them.
Yeah.
They proved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to say the only difference would be if we took a guy from 1868 and freeze-dried him and brought him forward to today, the only difference would be that we have an electric bulb. Other than that, it's pretty much the same as it was. Okay, kind of similar vein, where should the current minutes of the lodge be kept? Should every member have access to them? What do we think?
They should be kept in the building, somewhere in the building.
In the building, good.
I'm not going to tell anybody there's a specific closet, but they should be in the
Sure.
building and they should be accessible.
Good, good. And yes, they should be accessible. They're actually public. They're not private documents. Those are public. We're a nonprofit corporation. That means your minutes are basically public if they were so chosen to be. Personally, I know everybody wants to save them on their hard drive, and there's some benefit to that, but it makes it very difficult if anything happens, or if your computer crashes, we'll lose everything. Print them out, have them signed. The master has to sign the minutes if they've been approved. Secretary's supposed to attest that signature. So print them out, put 3 holes in them, put them in a binder, put your programs for that year in the binder, put your records in that binder, and then next year, spend the $3.80 and buy a new binder and start a new year. And I think it makes it very easy to have your minutes in a very accessible place. Keep the binders. Every lodge has old bankers' bookshelves and that kind of thing, or some closet that they could put that stuff. So I think it would be very beneficial if you did it in that fashion. Great question, though. Thank you, Stan. We appreciate it. And the last one is for Bill. Why is the Blue Book called the Blue Book?
Well, every 10 years, the Blue Book has to be cleaned, if you will, or just bring it up to date and take care of the cleaning. In 1938, the person responsible for that was Grandmaster Wirt Savory. And at that meeting, he decreed that the official name for that book was the Blue Book. And that's where it is today,
And it was
because of Wirt Savory.
It was officially received as the Blue Book.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Thanks, everybody. So October 1st, leadership class down in Kalamazoo. We'd love to have you. There's plenty of room. Go on the website. You'll get all the information, registration there. It's free. There's no cost to it, but we do have to have you register. So do that. October 15th, all degree day. If you have members that needs just 1 or 2, right? You don't have to take all 3.
That's correct.
You can take the fellow craft or the master mason or whatever, or all 3 if you so choose.
Correct.
Some of the places have other things after that, but in most of them there will be some fellowshipping after the degrees and so forth. So it'll be a nice day for everybody.
And there should be a presentation by the Shrine, or probably Scotty Shrine,
Something.
explaining the other
Right.
avenues brothers can go after they become a Master Mason.
Good. So going to be a good month.
Great time of year.
It is. It's my
Beautiful.
favorite time of year. We're going up to Bel Air mid-month and spend a few days up in Bel Air and have a good time. So everybody, take care of yourselves. Enjoy the fall. This is Michigan's time to shine. One of my favorite times of year. Go to Lodge. Enjoy it. And we'll see you next time on Trowel Time. Thanks, fellas. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.